we were connected to talk about Bite Me. But an interesting thing about you is when I look at the IMDb page, there's so many projects since then. When did you actually finish Bite Me?
You know, I want to say this was 2017 we shot it. 2019, it went on its Joyful Vampire tour. And of course, had it not been for COVID, we'd probably be talking in 2020. But, you know, this, among everything else in the world, was delayed 2 years. And so now we're finally getting the international digital release this movie deserves.
Yeah, usually when I do one of these, you know, junket kind of interview things, you ask the person for their memories of being on set, but being that it was like 4.5 years ago, it must be hard to remember some of that.
You know, I'm used to it though. Like this is, it's just the machine, you know, people are like, so what's next for you? And I have to like kind of go back and go like, well, I know what's next for me, but what next that you're going to see is a whole other thing. So I have to go back in time and like, okay, what should be coming out now? You know, but even then, after we're wrapped, we're kind of like, it's out of our hands. It's really up to, you know, production and money to, you know, come to fruition.
Well, having been involved with so many projects since Bite Me, have you actually worked with any cast or crew from Bite Me in another project since then?
That's interesting. No, I have not. I mean, I guess it's just, you know, we say it's a small world, but it's pretty big. Well, there's a lot of, you know, creatives out there.
Well, speaking of creatives, first of all, do you say Naomi or Naomi? Because there's both schools on that one.
Yeah, I actually say Naomi.
Naomi. Okay. You were not the only Naomi involved in this film. So
that's right.
How did that work? Did you say Naomi 1, Naomi 2?
I mean, she would be Naomi 1. Let's face it. She wrote it. It's her baby. But believe it or not, there was even a Naomi 3. There was a Naomi 3 as well. Our makeup girl was a Naomi. It was like so confusing, especially for a name that's not very common.
I know a few Naomis in everyday life, but
yeah,
do you often encounter Naomis?
No, it's very rare.
Have you ever been in a room with Naomi Judd? Because there's Naomi Judd, you. I can only think of like 3 famous ever Naomis, but in my personal
Naomi
life,
Campbell.
Oh, how did I forget that?
Naomi Judd, Naomi Watts.
I was not up on Naomi.
But obviously I am, so it's all right.
Yeah. So time period, fast forward aside, great movie to make, fun movie to make. I would have to assume not a lot of prosthetics that you had to wear for this one.
Right. It was a little, I will say that was one of the jarring things for me was like seeing my own face. I mean, like, oh man, maybe I should get some Botox. Like I'm not used to seeing my own face like 40 feet high, you know. Well, at least if it is 40 feet high, at least it's like covered in prosthetics.
But I'm not on that Botox train, but you know, credit goes to you for being so adaptable and flexible and doing whatever a role takes. But after having such a famous role that required prosthetics, do you have it in your contract that you ask, okay, so how much time in the makeup chair on this one?
No, but I should think about that. No, I mean, I don't know. That just seems like it's my thing. You know, I came back to the Horror Story franchise just recently in the spinoff series, American Horror Stories, and there was a ton of makeup involved with that. People don't realize, but you know, those special effects, when you get stabbed in the eye, that's not your eye. Like that's a, you know, that's a prosthetic eye. So even when I don't look like I'm covered in makeup, I actually indeed am.
Wow. Well, you know, you're again speaking to your versatility as a professional. Is there a kind of role that you're still hoping to be able to do one day that you haven't done yet?
Oh yeah, I mean, all the roles. Uh, I don't know. I feel like truth is, stranger than fiction. I would love to do. I mean, it's not like biopics are my, genre of choice per se, but there's so many interesting women lately who I feel like I could totally nail.
Mhm.
Ghislaine Maxwell among them. I mean, that's a story. I feel like people are maybe like it's too soon for Hillary Clinton, but like that's an interesting story to me.
Sure.
I mean, I'd love to play like Lily Tomlin or like a Gilda Radner. I mean, what a character, I mean, she obviously had some major pathos with her, the whole eating disorder and
Yeah.
cancer, blah blah blah. I mean, there's drama there, but of course to be able to juxtapose it with her really broad sketch chops, that those are roles that sounds really interesting to me.
But speaking of roles, sometimes you're the producer, sometimes you're the writer, sometimes you're doing voiceovers. So voiceovers, I'm finding more and more comedians are kind of under the radar of having these tremendous careers doing voiceover work. Sometimes it's anime, sometimes it's commercials. Was the initial goal to be a voiceover person?
Not at all. And I'm not. As much as I would like, I wish I were more. It's because it's good work if you can get it. You can do it in your closet in your bathrobe. But yeah, for whatever reason that hasn't really hit for me, but it's never too late. It's not dependent on your look, which is the beauty of it all.
Well, no prosthetics either.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Well,
I don't have to wear anything for that matter.
Yeah, I remember reading about that early on, that when Daniel Stern was doing the voiceovers for the Wonder Years, he was basically showing up to work in his pajamas and he'd be out of there in 2 hours and happy about it. And it's not an all day set camaraderie kind of thing necessarily.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the reason why you see these like major A-listers going for these, voiceover roles. You'd think, that they would think it was beneath them or something, but no, it's quite coveted work.
Not in 2022. It's cool to go from A-list actor to Bank of America voiceover person. But back to you here. Are you allowed to say what's next, or is it under deadline.com embargoes and publicists saying don't talk about this until I say it's okay?
Well, I have to go back and say, what's next for me or what you're going to see next?
Well, we see Replica is filming according to IMDb. Is that true?
Yeah, that is true. Well, I don't know if they're filming. I know I have filmed. Okay. We shot that in late August of last year. So, like COVID times that, which was a whole very interesting experience. Mickey Rourke stars in that with me and others. I play a neo-Nazi meth head. So again, a role very, very far from myself. I'm proud to say.
With your last name, I'm sure that was the first thing they went. Grossman, Nazi, of course.
Probably, yeah, exactly. No, it's interesting. The story is based on the writer director's own story. So I play his sister, which I didn't even know she was a real person until after he called cut for the first time, and he was like, "Oh my God, you are totally channeling my sister right now." And I, little did I know that she was a real person. So
wow, you didn't even talk about method.
I know. Well, kind of like Pepper, if you fall down the meth heads at Walmart rabbit hole on YouTube, you are busy for that. Will keep you, locked in the house for days. So, I really enjoy playing anything like really far from myself. That said, Chrissy in Bite Me is really not far from myself. I mean, I don't drink blood. It does not, I do not derive my energy from blood, but
But
other than that, I'm really, I'm kind of this firebrand boss bitch and unapologetic about it. So, when they called me for this role, I was totally like on board. I was a little scared about not having the prosthetics and like a real like, very diverse character to hide behind, which is sort of my go-to, but very flattered. Ultimately, the other Naomi one,
yeah.
wrote this role with me in mind, actually. So, which is crazy to me,
And here
for
we
so
are.
long, no one had me in mind for anything. So it's pretty cool.
They want you. Well, I'm going to ask you two quick questions.
Sure.
And then you're free. The first question, besides, hey, let's get Bite Me through my favorite VOD outlet or favorite streaming service, do you have a TV recommendation you could pass along to somebody who needs a new show to start?
Oh, so a television specifically, not
Or
film.
streaming television, same thing in 2022,
True, but I mean not like a movie, a 90-minute film, but rather a
you
episodic.
got a movie. Let's be honest. A Netflix series really is like 3 movies, or the other way around. Like 3 TV shows is a movie, something like that.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I mean, I'm trying to think of something that is not everyone's answer. You know what I mean? Like everyone's talking about Don't Look Up, which I loved, or West Side Story, also loved. But no one's talking about, and I don't know that it is streaming just yet, but there's a new movie called El Buen Patron, The Good Boss. And it stars Javier Bardem. It's a Spanish movie. It'll be up for best, foreign film for sure. In fact, I don't know that it's going to be like the Parasite of 2022 per se, but I think it has the makings to be like it's fabulous film. And as soon as it is available streaming, you should stream it.
I'm excited for this one. And the last question is left field. I couldn't figure this out through a quick Google of you. Do you have a favorite band?
I do. You're right. That's not like public knowledge, but in my brain, I'm like, how do people not know this about me? Because it is so, I don't hesitate. The Beatles. And I know I'm like,
No,
not old enough for that to even be my favorite band, but I don't know. I just grew up with them, and I've always, there's not a single song I don't know word for word. I just their story. Oh, that's something to stream. The new
you like Let It Be,
Let It Be,
the Get Back rooftop concert?
Yes, there you go. There
Okay.
you go.
Yeah, that is 6 hours or 8 hours.
I don't know, but it's not long enough for me. I cannot get enough Beatles.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Looking forward to whatever is next, in what order it's coming out, whether or not IMDb is telling the truth.
That's great. Yes.
Paltrocast.